friends, I'm hiding behind my tree here because it's really hot and it's time to take you on a June tour. So I'm going to show you everything I've got, and remember, if you want to know, this is new raised beds. I just did them this year, and I'll link the videos of all those stages until I get here, and I will also reference some of the videos and the position and stuff that I did on some of the plants, some things that I wish I would have changed, but I'm learning for next year. This is my second year gardening, so it's a learning curve. I've got a lot going on, and this is just the side of my house. It's sort of a secret garden. Nobody knows I have it here, so I'm excited to show you, so come on. Bed number 1 is a spot that I was more focused in the appearance of what you could see when we're sitting in the patio. Hope I don't get you dizzy. And in here, I had no idea that, well, I knew the broccoli and cauliflower get a little bit too big, but I thought they would lean over. Either way, this 2 broccolis. In between, I have the flowering ornamental kale. This is called crane red. And then in here, I've got some cauliflower. So you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you look back, I mean, it looks really nice. It just looks too full, so I think next year I'll do something different. But as you can see, look, we have some broccoli. This is my very first. I've never had it, and I think I will be growing some cauliflower. I think it's coming up. So because these are so wide, they sorta covered what I have in here, but I only have cilantro, so it looks like it's doing okay. It's helping. This area gets a lot of heat and wind, so I did a lot of florals, and we can start over here from the back. This is nasturtiums, and the same reason. I mean, I have a lot of flowers and a lot of color so that you can see everything really nice from the patio. It's getting really hot, so these are struggling, and I recently put some hay, and I'm going to add a thicker layer because it's getting super hot. We're getting in the high 90s right now, and if I haven't mentioned, I live in South Texas. I stuck some randoms here, like this is a cantaloupe, and it's getting started. I've got some snapdragons, Victoria blue salvia, and I added 2 sunflowers on each corner. I got one here and then one on that side, and I think I'm pleased with everything here. On the side, I also added another trailing cantaloupe, and I have some beans here that are doing okay. I've got another set of beans. See how I have one there, which I'll harvest right now, but I have another set of green beans that are doing way better. So for this bed, I think the only thing that I would do different would be what I have in between. Either I won't do the cauliflower and broccoli there. I think I'll move those over, and then probably put something that's a little bit more appealing in the front piece. If you look right here, there's nothing that comes, sorry. There's nothing that falls, and all the other ones do, and it looks really pretty, so I'm gonna do that different. Bed number 2 had somewhat of the same concept. I wanted, because I knew I was gonna have some trailing on this side, I wanted something that didn't trail, and I wanted something striking, and the marigolds are doing just that. I mean, look how gorgeous. I will say that I did underestimate the size. This is almost, I would say, 2 feet wide, and how big these are. And I think there's 4 plants. Yep, there are 4 plants here, so it filled in pretty well. I have this coleus that's new. I had to add some color because this fell over, and I really like that it did that. These were not doing well with the wind, and they did snap a little bit, so this is protecting them. But I will say that this piece is not as strong, and you see here, this tomato is doing really good even though it's hanging on a thread. But we'll harvest some of these tomatoes because I have so many and they're so delicious. I don't know if you can see them. Look at all those tomatoes I just harvested, and there are so many more. It's just full, and it's just 2 tomatoes. I haven't done much, but just trim them a little bit. But look, it's still growing. It's coming up too. So I also have some Brussels sprouts, and I think I should have had those planted a long time ago. They're pretty small, and the heat is just unbearable right now, and it's not as hot as it should be. So I have a few. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the back I have the snapdragons and more Victoria Blue Salvia. I love the yellow and blue purple combination. I'm definitely going to repeat that again. A lot of the design here was inspired by Casey, the Lawrence Garden Farm. She mixes a lot of her flowering annuals with her vegetables, and I just love that too. So I did it and I love it. I'm not gonna stop doing that. I'm definitely gonna do that over and over. So this color combination is beautiful. The sun's really hitting it so you don't see it well. I'll take another I'll bring you around again when the sun is coming down so you can see the nice colors. So I've got some different type of marigolds, and I made a mistake, and I thought that I was gonna get another set of the Tidy Treats, which is these tomatoes, and I put Super Sweet 100 from Johnny Seeds, and these get really large. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but for right now I'm just gonna let them do their thing. And the bad part is that I have 4. I added some, I believe these are Armenian cucumbers. They have a tendency to curve, so I'm excited to see if I can get some growth. These were planted late. Another coleus, these are lunchbox peppers, and I've already harvested some, but I got another one growing here. I'm probably gonna let that one turn different. And I've got this cucumber that's a little strange. You see, it just has a lot of blooms, but not that many leaves or foliage on that end. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it's doing its thing. I was hoping that they all trailed out, but those are still too small. So for bed 2, I'm definitely going to do the Brussels sprouts at a different time. They're more of a fall crop, I believe, and change it up. I think I want to do something different there. We'll see. There's a lot of things I want to grow next year. Bed number 3 had somewhat of the same concept again, because I was going to have the trailing cucumbers here. I didn't want something that trailed, but I wanted a focal point, which in this case it's these marigolds. I will say that from the comparison from those to these, I prefer these. They're fuller, the color's so bright. These are not as full, and the color's beautiful, but it looks more like fall, and I like bright colors for summer. And over here I've got a little bit of, which I don't know if we're gonna get anything, but these are Mexican sour gherkins. I think the cucumbers I should have started much earlier. I added Brussels sprouts anywhere I could, so there's some in here, and I have some peppers. These are bell peppers. I got one that's growing here, and then this one, which I noticed that this has a little soft spot, so I'm gonna go ahead and harvest that. I have had some issues with caterpillars. The white flies have done their part, and look, here we go. We got one right here, so I can show you. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Look at it. It's eating up. One of you recommended Captain Jack's, and it really worked. I didn't have caterpillars for a few weeks. So this is again another incident, but I will add some more, and then hopefully no more caterpillars. One thing I didn't know about snapdragons is that I should have cut these so they could get a little bit bushier and not as lengthy, but lesson learned there because they look very sparse. But I do have a few, and I've got some lavender, and it is blooming, which is really nice, and they smell really good. Next time I'll do a lot more lavender. In this bed I had extra sunflowers, so I snuck those in there, so there's 4. And then I have Tomato World. This sort of trails into my main tomato bed, and you see the mess. My favorite tomatoes have been the super sweet, and I'm going to harvest a few of those. It's just a little bit bigger than the cherry tomatoes, but they are super sweet. They're very good. For next year, I'm not gonna add tomatoes in this bed over here anymore, because you walk into the garden from there and this is the focal point, and it's just so much. It's just so big and busy, and my intentions of putting the tomatoes here was because they received the most sun and they were tall plants that wouldn't shade the other ones. Well, I found out in the other area further down, I get enough sun to grow tomatoes, so I'm definitely gonna switch them further down. So I've got a lot of tomatoes here, and a lot of them have gone over to the other side of the bed and I can't reach them. I have to kind of find my way in there. But this is the super sweet, and I have about 3 in this corner with some of the babies. So I have some of the tidy treats here mixed in with the super sweet 100. So these are bigger. I just love how they are on the vine. They're just so pretty. But I've got so many. So I'm afraid, you see how this is like this? Those are gonna get the same. And this is my entrance. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But let me do some harvesting and then I'll show you what I have. Here we go. Those are the other ones. See, they're not too much difference, but they are bigger. So if we compare 2, that's what it is. I've got 3 tomatillos, which I don't think I'm gonna do next year. They're just a huge plant, and I don't have any. I think I had 1 or 2, and that's it. Let me show you. I harvested 1 and it didn't grow as good as I hoped. And let's see if we can see the other one. Okay, I found it. You see, that's all I get out of this entire bushy area. I get 1. So I don't think that I'm gonna do that next year. Maybe I'll do 1 and in the same area over there with the other tomatoes, and maybe I will put a trellis on it and make it climb up. We'll see. But I will say that there's a lot of good things here. The marigolds are beautiful, and they are giant marigolds. See if you compare it to the size of my hand, and these last so long in the house as a cut flower. It is so worth growing these, even if it's just as a cut flower. They're so bright and beautiful because they last forever. And then over on this side, look at this, you see? I have a real jungle. But let me show you, look at the size of this tomato. Look at this one. And then, this is my favorite. You see it? It is so big. It is the size of my hand. And then I've got all of those down here as well. And it's just trailing down. I do love that. Last year I had cages, but in this area it's very windy, as you can probably tell. And I had to restake the tomatoes over and over again, and it just didn't work out. So I was hoping that this did, and I really liked it. I really, really like it. I think I'm gonna continue that. I don't know about the cages. Plus, they're not so pretty unless you buy expensive ones. So I think this works out. You see how I have tomatoes that are over there, but one of my main important areas is this one, which is the watermelon and cantaloupe. We love watermelon and cantaloupe, and I've got a few. Let me show you. I have a baby here that's hidden right here. That's growing. I also just found one when I was just harvesting those tomatoes, and it's good sized watermelon. My largest one is back here. Let's see if we can get there before making some damages. All right, here we go. Look at my watermelon. I'm so excited. So beautiful. I have another one there. Let's see if we can focus. Look at the other one. So the bad thing is that they're stuck in here, but I'll take it. On bed number 5, I have cantaloupe, zucchini, squash, peppers, sunflowers, cucumbers, marigolds, and a little bit of the coleus. And over here, look at that beauty. Look at that cantaloupe. I think I only have one though, so I'm hoping that we can get some more. There's a few in there that are growing. We'll see. Look at the size of the leaves, the zucchini. It just grew from like one week to another. It's so much happier. It was struggling a bit, but it's also trailing out, which I really like. I really like the way it is turning out to be. Bed number 5 is really focused on the peppers. I have 4, 5, 7. I have 8. One of them is not too happy and it hasn't grown at all, so I don't know if it's still gonna survive. And my biggest success is the sunflowers. Definitely gonna repeat that, and I think I want sunflowers everywhere. I failed to show you the sunflowers in the tomato bed because they're sort of turned the other way, but let me show you real quick. I hope we can distinguish them, but look at the sunflowers. Those are the Goldie Double, and they have multiple buds, which I really like. You can tell they're budding out on different areas. I did repeat those further down, so you'll be able to see those a lot better. I harvested some peppers already, and I think I have a few more to harvest, but I'm gonna leave them. I like to make some hot sauce with a mixture of the green and the red jalapeno peppers. So I'm gonna let them sit until they turn. Oh, before I get to there, we do have one zucchini growing here, and then we've got the peppers over here. See, we've got 2 there. I've harvested 3, and I still have, oh, this is habaneros. Let me show you what these look like. And I've got a few. Oops. The habaneros are looking so good. We have a few. And this one over here has some too. My husband likes to eat habaneros. And the plants are looking pretty good, much happier than they were. I think they were struggling a bit. I've got 1 serrano left here and a few that are growing on these. And I got cucumbers. I love how they're trailing out. You can see I have a few cucumbers that are growing, and I have a couple of cucumber plants over there as well. You see these sunflowers? It's time for me to harvest them. Even though they look so pretty, I just love the way they start falling down. Looks so pretty. I've harvested 5 of them, so we'll see if we can save some of those seeds. Bed number 6 is more of my lettuce bed. This area doesn't get much sun. I think next year I might switch it over to that end because it just gets a tiny bit less sun. But this is where I have some green beans. I have a nasturtium. I have different varieties of lettuces, which I haven't harvested too much right now because I wanted to do this video. I've harvested the ends of it. I have not cut anything from the top. So I've got some here. I've got some more that I added in between. And I've got just different varieties, which I really love. I wish I would have had like a purple color. I just couldn't find in my seed collection. And then over here I have begonias, coleus that are flowering, and they actually look really nice. And I had added some seeds of some snapdragons a long time ago, and then we had a heavy rain and it just shifted everything. I was supposed to have snapdragons there in the center. It didn't happen because all of the other snapdragons are like stuck in between. You can see there's a few of them. But here's the other side. They have the same thing, and they're just at a diagonal shape, and I really love it. I just wish that these would have grown a little bit more, but it looks like they're finally getting there with the shade and the mulch. And I have 2 red cabbages. They were slow to grow, but they're getting there. And if we can move over to this bed, which is bed number 7, it has cucumbers, and then it has a variety of things. This is where the other sunflowers are. And then I have just a mixture of things that have grown on their own or that have survived not so much sun. These are potatoes that I just planted here, and I have more potatoes here than anywhere else, and I think I just loved this spot. I'll show you the other bed where I have all of the potatoes that I planted, and this just seems to love it here. I have quite a few potatoes that are growing. I have an nasturtium there, and this one came from the compost. So I found it and I plugged it in there, and it looks happy now. The zucchini here had been, I think, eaten twice, and it just regrew. This is the 3rd time it grows, and it's never been this big. So I think it's finally gonna grow, and I'm so surprised that I'm gonna get something. We'll see. And then I have testing some watermelon. I'm growing it. I just don't know if we'll get any watermelons. This potato vine grew from the compost. I transferred it over, and it's just loving it. And then the star of the show is the sunflowers. Look at the sunflowers. I mean, I didn't know we could get these sunflowers. I didn't know these were sunflowers. Look at the size compared to my hand. And then they have all these multiple buds. This is one sunflower plant. I'm definitely gonna repeat this one because I think you get a really nice show. This is another one. I don't know what variety this one is, but it is different. I know that one's a Goldie double. And I'm gonna have to put on here what these are because I did a different mix. On this side, I don't know what this is, but it was growing from the compost, and I just decided to let it go because I needed something. I didn't have anything else to put there. And then this over here is dill. And it looks like it's doing good. Bed number 8 surprised me. I thought that we wouldn't get as much sun, and so I was very particular about what I put in here. I don't have too much, but the main one is this potato. Nope, not a potato. This tomato. I've already harvested 3 large tomatoes, and I had to cover the tomatoes because of the birds, but I still have quite a few here and there that need to ripen, and some more here. And I think this is going to be the area where I'm going to put the tomatoes going forward. I think this is ready for the big bush, especially since I have much of a, sorry, excuse that, but I have a lot of walking space compared to that corner over there. I wanted to add some color everywhere, so I added a nasturtium here. Let me take that off, and this dill did okay. I think the other dill did better. I think I put 5 potato seeds here, and I only have 1 that came up. This is celery. And then I added these beautiful sunflowers. And I thought they would get taller, but maybe because I planted them later and they don't get as much sun here, this is all I'm gonna get. Which, in reality, this is better than nothing. And then here I have the zinnias, and they're doing really good. I'm gonna have to start harvesting these. This is gonna be for my cut flower garden, and I think I'll start harvesting some of these. I have to get some from the other one, so not yet. I have another crane red kale, the ornamental kale, that just stuck around and it's finally taking off. I have more of the marigolds. I think it does it really well on this side. Some cilantro that sort of wants to bolt, but maybe with some shade over here we will prevent that. And then I stuck some watermelon to see if we get anything. Maybe one of them will head on. And then I have this ginormous cucumber plant that I think is just gorgeous, the way it just trails down. It's like a dress. And I just found a few cucumbers that are ready. Look at that big one. It's huge. Look at that one over there. And that one. So we're gonna eat cucumber. I didn't grow any cucumbers indoors, so it did take me a long time to get some cucumbers, which I know next time. I love fresh cucumbers, so I'm definitely gonna grow some indoors. But either way, I'm starting to get them, and I'm so excited. Look at this cucumber. It's my very first one of the season that I get to harvest. Bed number 9 was more of my root bed. So I had radishes that I harvested. I have beets that really didn't make it except for after adding this mulch hay. It just somehow didn't like the sun, and it's the second time I do that, so I need to learn my lesson. Here in Texas, they're only done me well in the fall. And I replaced, well, once I harvested the radishes, I put some potatoes here as well. So I have 2 that made it, and that's it, only 2, and I think I put 5 in here. I added some cantaloupe in there, various areas, just to see where I can grow some. So I have a few there. And look, I just harvested some carrots because I need to do some thinning. And I put a lot of strawberries here, and only the ones that I had that grew indoor. So I had 2 have made it through. There's a few in here that also made it just after I added the hay. So I think it really needed some protection from the sun. It really likes it now. And then I have some watermelon that is starting to trail out, so I hope I can get some from this plant as well. This is my celery batch, and this is from last year, sometime around October. I seeded these, and it's June and I still have some, and I've harvested some, but you see it's not doing well with the heat. This is chamomile that I didn't know I had from last year as well. All of these are from last year. And then back here I've got some blueberries, and it's doing okay. Like, it has a lot more foliage than it did last year. So I think maybe next year I'll get some, and I will probably replace it from the pot. But my celery is doing good. I have 2, 3, 4, 5 smart pots with a few celeries in here. I don't know if you follow the medical medium, but I juice a lot of the celery for the health benefits. Obviously, you need a lot of celery, and that's not enough. That's probably enough for 1.5 weeks. But I still wanted to try it. I'm not sure if I will have that much. I think I'm gonna have celery enough for the kitchen, because it does take a lot of celery for what I consume, and I don't think I could ever do that in this space. So I'm gonna take you over here to the end just so that you can see what this area looks like. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I have my compost here, which I'm still using from last year. I'm gonna move it because I don't also want this to be the focal point when you come back here, but that's next year's plans. But it works out. It's really good, and I have my hay and all my kitchen scraps in there. This is the view from the very back, and this is all the space that I have. So let's walk over to the last beds, which are 10 and 11. We're gonna come over past the AC units, and you have this view. The sun is still kind of there, so let me back up a little bit. The sun is going down, but I wanted to show you the best view is when I come this way. You see here, this is my zinnias, my crazy giant, I think it's Binary zinnias from Johnny Seeds. Before I go there, this is where I had the cabbage that I just harvested, and this is a nasturtium that I had from last year as well. Later on, I'll have some really nice pots here with some more stuff. But back to the zinnias. I underestimated these giant zinnias. There is 9 plants here, and this is what happens when you don't harvest zinnias. I just couldn't help how good they look. And then I have onions here, which one is ready to harvest, but I think I might do it just to get a head start on my onions. But they're doing so good. There's some that in this area haven't really done much here, but I think it's just because of the shade. And then these on this side get a lot of sun, so I know what I have to do now for onions. So I love the combination of the pink and the purple zinnias. I'm definitely gonna grow zinnias every year. They're just beautiful. And I still love the combination of the onions, the textures, and the zinnias together. So I think I'll do it again, just maybe 3 plants, that's it. We're gonna do this together. This is an onion that is ready to harvest. You see the neck here is already bent at a 90-degree angle, and I don't wanna let it sit here and rot. The other ones are not ready, so we're harvesting right now. Let's see what this looks like. Wait, I'm really excited. Let's see. Maybe we get a good size. Well, it's a little bitty one. Look at this. I love it. I love this baby onion. I harvested an onion. And that's pretty much what I eat, because none of my family members love onion, only me, so it's perfect. And then finally, the last bed that I had anything growing in, because of the delayed delivery on the potatoes. So potatoes was meant for this bed a long time ago, and I put so many potatoes that I think they have rotten in here. I mean, I think they're gone. Only a few have made it through, and I'll get to show you what these are. Do you see this? I have so many potatoes, but it's so hot, and so I'm surprised that I even got some, because they told me that it was pretty hot already. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 potatoes that are doing good. This one is doing the best. So definitely the other bed over there had a lot more growth, so I'm definitely gonna do potatoes over there. Oops. And I also have a potato vine that came from the compost. That's what she looks like. She's pretty full. So she gives me something to look at when I walk in. Oh, you can see my little basket. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you on a tour of just overall. This is what I do every evening, every morning. I come and I do this walk. You see what I mean? I just need to like redo here, even though I added some nasturtium, so I should have some color there. They're just taking a while to come through. And then I come and I just check all my plants. I love looking at all of this every single day. This is my normal walk. So this is what you can do with the side of your house. I've underestimated the space. I never knew that I can grow anything. I'm in between houses in a subdivision, and I don't get a lot of sun. Maybe between 4 or 5 hours maximum on some areas. 6 hours the most, which I think is full sun, but I don't get it on all the sides. So try it. If you haven't, this is strange, it's different, you don't see this everywhere, and I made it look really nice. So I love coming out here. This is like my mini vacation every day. I love coming out here, so I encourage you to do the same if you don't do it in raised beds. I started with smart pots and I loved it, especially how you can move things around. So if it doesn't work out somewhere, you can easily grab them and move it around. These are permanent, but they're high and I can fit a lot more. So there's pros and cons to everything. And then just the view, like, I just love it. You can do a lot, so don't underestimate even just the wall space, which I'm gonna do next year. I give you some hints. Containers, walls, some more wall, whatever, wall gardening is what you call it, and maybe a bench, a sitting area, just a lot of little cool stuff that I finally get to spend some more time doing. Well, thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next one. And I wanted to add, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my entire heart, for all of you that have subscribed. You guys help me, you cheer me up. I love to see you comment. I love to respond and talk to you, and I have 1,000 friends. You guys, that means the world to me. I've been doing this for a year, and I did it only for a video journey for myself and my growing experience. I'm glad you are sticking through with it with me, and hopefully you stay, and I'll get better. So anyways, thank you to all 1,000 of you. Oh, let me back up real quick so you can hear me. Just so you know, every time you subscribe, I send you a big hug and a thank you from my device, because I check it on my phone. I get notifications every time if your account is public. I see it, so I call you by your name, I give you a big hug, and I tell you thank you as I get those. So again, thank you so much. For those that you are private, I still thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys dearly, and you guys have a great day.